Yeah, proceed,
Ma'am?
Gauri.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
can start presenting the case.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning,
Yeah.
all. Next slide. Uh, Mrs. Malati, a 68-year-old from Ponneri. She is a housewife and her education is third standard. She is from a lower middle class family. Her obstetric score is P3 L3. Next slide. She came with the chief complaints of mass descending per vaginum since 3 years. Next slide. History of presenting illness. Patient was apparently normal 3 years back, after which she presents with a mass descending per vaginum. Initially, it was small in size. Now it progressed to the present size. The mass is reducible. It got worsened after prolonged standing or lifting heavy objects. It reduced when pushed inside manually. Next slide. No history of difficulty in initiating micturition, no history of increased frequency of urination, no history of burning micturition, no history of retention of urine, no history of leakage of urine during coughing or sneezing, no history of constipation, chronic cough, lifting heavy weights, abdominal distension or mass per abdomen, no history of vaginal discharge, no history of intermenstrual bleeding, and no history of low backache and no history of usage of pessary. Ma'am, can I proceed, ma'am?
No, Gauri, I want to
Yes, ma'am.
all of you listen in this presentation. Go to the previous slide. Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, you
Yes,
have to
ma'am.
present as prolapse symptoms, bladder symptoms, and bowel symptoms. In the
Oh,
prolapse
okay, yes, ma'am.
symptoms, you can say in the prolapse, you can say in the prolapse, you always categorize your symptoms according to the prolapse, bladder, bowel, and sexual. So, in the
Okay,
prolapse
ma'am.
symptom, you are supposed to say history of white discharge per
Okay.
vagina, a history of foul smelling discharge, or any history of bleeding per vaginum. So, all these symptoms related to the prolapse has to be
Prolapse first.
presented.
Yes,
And
yes,
then
ma'am.
in the bladder symptoms, you have to say first whether there is any difficulty in voiding, whether she is
Yes,
able
ma'am.
to void urine without reducing the mass per vaginum or by reducing the mass per vaginum. And then
Yes, ma'am.
frequency of micturition, urgency, urge urinary incontinence, stress urinary incontinence, incomplete emptying of the bladder. In pelvic organ prolapse, there is always incomplete emptying of the bladder because of the cystosate. So you
Yes,
have
ma'am.
to ask the incomplete emptying of the bladder. And then you have to ask for the history suggestive of urinary tract infection like
Burning micturition.
dysuria, burning micturition, lower abdominal pain associated with fever, chills, and rigor. And then coming to the bowel symptoms, you have to ask for the history of constipation. And always the patients with the pelvic organ prolapse will have constipation. So you have to ask for constipation. And then uh, any urgency during defecation, and then sexual symptoms, loss of libido and loss of orgasm and difficulty in sexual activities. So you have to present these symptoms according to the prolapse, bladder, bowel, and sexual. All right.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Proceed.
Next slide. Menstrual history. Menarche attained at 14 years of age.
Otherwise,
Regular cycle.
otherwise you have elicited all the history nicely. I appreciate you, but you have to
Yes,
put
ma'am.
it in the subtitles.
Order.
I'm
Yes, ma'am.
very
Yes, ma'am.
happy to see that you have mentioned no history of retention, leakage, and then frequency, difficulty in initiating. All other things are good. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Next slide. Menstrual history. Menarche attained at 14 years of age. Regular cycle of 30 days, not associated with pain and clots. Attained menopause at 40 years of age. Next
So
slide.
it is a premature menopause. The
Yes,
average
ma'am.
age of menopause for Indian ladies is 47 to 52.5. Okay,
Yes,
that is
ma'am.
the average age for menopause for Indian women. But here your patient attained menopause at 40 years. that is due to the premature ovarian failure. Okay, it is a very premature menopause. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Marital history, she got married at 20 years of age, non-consanguineous marriage.
20 years of her age. Uh,
Yes, ma'am. 20 years of her age, ma'am.
mm.
Next slide. Obstetric history, P3L3, first pregnancy, conceived at 21 years. First, second, and third trimesters are uneventful. Home delivery by trained dye, normal vaginal delivery, no prolonged labor, episiotomy. Intrapartum and postpartum events are uneventful. No history of excessive bleeding. Second pregnancy, spacing.
What intrapartal event you think may lead to pelvic organ prolapse later? What
Ma'am,
intrapartal and postpartal event?
prolonged second stage of labor can cause prolapse. Then premature bearing down can also cause prolapse. Ma'am.
How does the prolonged second stage of labor predispose to pelvic organ prolapse?
Uh,
Why?
it will weaken the cervix, ma'am.
Cervix?
And, I
Prolonged
don't know,
second
ma'am.
stage, you don't know? So
No,
what
no, no.
happens is in prolonged second stage, all the ligaments, pelvic ligaments and muscles, all the other students are listening. All other students are listening.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All of you are listening or sleeping or left the meeting or I don't know.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am,
Yeah,
we are listening, ma'am.
you are listening. Fine. Okay. So what happens? The prolonged second stage weakens the pelvic ligaments. So what are the important pelvic ligaments?
Uh, uterosacral ligament,
Yeah, very
McEnroe
good.
ligaments,
Uterosacral ligaments, McEnroe's ligament.
McEnroe ligament,
Then
pubocervical ligament.
excellent pubocervical ligament. Then
Uh,
pubocervical ligament, and then
uh,
what happens to the muscle? What are the important muscles
muscles, pelvic
responsible for
pelvic diaphragm.
internal rotation? What are the important muscles responsible for internal rotation of the baby head? Which
Levator
muscle
muscles, ma'am.
levator ani? So what are the components of levator ani?
Uh, puborectalis. No,
Uh,
madam. Sorry, ma'am.
yeah,
Pubo,
pubo,
eh,
uh,
pubococcygeus,
uh,
ileococcygeus, ma'am.
and puborectalis, isn't it? So
Puborectalis, yes,
these
ma'am.
muscles are important components of pubococcygeus, ileococcygeus, puborectalis. So these
Puborectalis.
are the components of levator ani. So during prolonged second stage, what happens? So when we are asking the patient to bear down, so beyond a certain extent, the ligaments stretch to a maximum extent. Beyond that, it cannot stretch. So at that time, what happens? There may be a rupture of muscle fibers and connective tissue, which may not regenerate even after 6 weeks of involution of the uterus. All right. So that
Yes,
is
ma'am.
why prolonged second stage, it causes weakening of the pelvic muscles and ligaments, denervation of the podental nerve during the intrapartal instrumental delivery, thereby leading to the pelvic organ prolapse later. You should know why you are asking for prolonged second stage of labor and third stage of labor. Understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Then
Then postpartumly, the women can restart her physical activities, so that can also cause prolapse later, ma'am.
postpartally,
She resumes her physical activities very soon.
very soon, because the uh, the time needed for the pelvic organs, muscles and ligaments to regain its original shape and position
So,
is 6 weeks. So
Yes, ma'am.
for up to 6 weeks, the women are not supposed to do any work which causes increased pressure to the lower abdomen and pelvis. So when they resume activities which cause more pressure to the lower abdomen and pelvic muscles, that may cause weakening of the ligaments and muscles, which may lead to prolapse. Because it needs 6 weeks time. All the pelvic organs, muscles, ligaments, they all need 6 weeks time to contract, to involute, to regain its original shape and position. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Uh,
Second pregnancy, spacing between pregnancy was 2 years, no contraception use, home delivery by trained eye, normal vaginal delivery, no perineal tear, episiotomy, no postpartum events or uneventful. Third pregnancy, spacing between pregnancy was 2 years, no contraception used, all the trimesters are uneventful, normal vaginal delivery at full term, home delivery by trained eye, postpartum uneventful. Puerperal sterilization done 7 days later in government hospital nearby. Past history of puerperal sterilization, tubectomy was done. No history of chronic respiratory diseases, no history of connective tissue disorder, no history of neurological disease, not a known case of diabetes, hypertension,
so
TB, epilepsy.
what do you think connective tissue disorder can lead to pelvic organ collapse? So what are the connective tissue disorders that can lead to pelvic organ collapse?
Marfan syndrome, then
Marfan syndrome,
Ehlers-Danlos syndrome,
Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Okay.
Danlos syndrome.
Why neurological disease you want to exclude? Why do you want to know about the neurological disease? Because
Spina bifida can occur in
yeah. So because of the
nullable.
neurological disease, what happens? Why do they lead to pelvic organ collapse?
Because of nerve problem, muscle contraction. No, ma'am.
Because of the neurological defect, the pudendal nerve defect. So what happens?
Muscles will become weak.
Denervation of the muscle. So the
Denervation.
muscles won't contract. So that causes the loosening of the ligaments leading to atony, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Muscle
Yes, ma'am.
atony. That causes pelvic organ collapse. Then, okay. Okay, proceed.
Yes, ma'am. Next slide. Family history. No history of similar complaints in the family.
Why do you want to ask? Why do you want to ask no history of similar complaints in the family?
Because connective tissue disorder. Ma'am? Connective tissue disorder can occur in her siblings or her family, ma'am.
Okay. Other than that? See, it is an autosomal dominant disease. All of you please note that it is the latest concept in the etiopathogenesis of pelvic organ prolapse. Pelvic organ prolapse is an autosomal dominant disease, runs in families, and it is caused by one gene, defect in one gene. Do you know that gene?
No, ma'am.
You go and study. Lamellar gene. You go and study that. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So that is why you are asking for family history. Pelvic organ prolapse runs in families. It is an autosomal dominant disease caused by defect in the gene name dash. Fill in the blanks. Okay? Then.
Yes, ma'am. A personal history, she consumes a non-vegetarian diet, appetite is normal, bowel and bladder habits are normal, adequate sleep, and no history of any social
No, you cannot say bowel and bladder habits are normal.
Habits are normal.
For these patients, they are not normal, so you have to take this out.
Yes, ma'am.
It is for other patients, not for this patient.
Yes, ma'am. Next slide.
Then.
General examination, consent was obtained and patient is examined. Patient is stable and cooperative. She is moderately built and nourished. Her weight was 74 kg, height 160 centimeter, and her BMI was 28.1 kg per meter square. Pallor present, no icterus, no cyanosis, no clubbing, no pedal edema, and no generalized lymphadenopathy. Vitals
No,
or pulse rate?
no. Harini, you have to tell about the spine and thyroid. You have not mentioned. Thyroid is very important. Breast examination is a must. And then
Yes, ma'am.
spine is very important. You have not told about spine, any kyphoscoliosis or any problem in the spine. And then you
Ma'am, I
have to
have put it in
tell
the
about.
next slide, ma'am.
Okay, all right. These comes before pulse and other BP.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
First, we will do the general examination, including breast, thyroid, spine, and then only we will go for pulse BP, isn't it?
Yes,
So it
ma'am.
has to come in that way only.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, tell me.
Next slide, Hermi. Yes, ma'am. Breast examination normal, thyroid examination normal,
Okay,
spine
okay.
examination normal, RS normal vesicular bed sounds heard, no added sounds, CVS S1, S2 heard, no murmurs, CNS no focal neurological deficit. Hermi, before slide, Hermi. Vitals, pulse rate was 70 beats per minute, blood pressure 130 bar 80 mmHg, respiratory rate is 18 breaths per minute, thoraco-abdominal type, temperature is afebrile. Next slide. Abdomen examination, inspection, scaphoid abdomen, umbilicus is in midline, all quadrants move equally with respiration, flanks are free, healthy scar of 4 centimeters, suprapubic region is present, no sinus, dilated veins,
No,
hernial orifice are free.
suggestive of tubal ligation scar. You have to tell like that.
Okay, ma'am.
Healthy scar of 4 centimeter in the suprapubic region, suggestive of tubal ligation.
Tubal ligation. Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Transabdominal tubal ligation.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
A palpation,
Okay.
not warm, no tenderness, abdomen is soft, no organomegaly and no palpable mass. Percussion, no shifting dullness present. Auscultation, bowel sounds are heard. Next slide. Gynec examination, inspection, external genitalia is atrophic, pubic hair is
So
sparse,
what
a
does it
pinkish,
indicate? No, stop. What does it
ma'am,
indicate? Atrophic external genitalia indicates.
she's an
It,
old age woman.
no. What does it shows? Old age. So what happens? So what
Uh,
happens?
her her muscles got weakened because of atrophic.
No. Hypoestrogenism. Because she is
Okay,
a
ma'am.
post-menopausal lady, there is a hypoestrogenism
Hypoestrogen.
which leads to atrophy of the vulva and vagina. So, because of the
Okay.
atrophic vulval epithelium, see, because of the estrogen deficiency, there is atrophy of vulval epithelium. So, because of the atrophy, the vulval epithelium is frequently exposed to pathological organisms leading to recurrent urinary tract infection. You should know about the pathophysiology of recurrent UTI in postmenopausal women, mainly due to hypoestrogenism, right? Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Hmm.
A pinkish globular mass of 6 cross 5 centimeter is lying outside the vagina. Vagina rugosity is lost, dry and scaly.
See, you
No
have you
press.
have told you have clearly told there is atrophic of external genitalia and
Yes,
rugosity
ma'am.
of the vagina is lost. All indicate there is a definite severe hypoestrogenism.
Okay,
Okay.
ma'am.
Ah,
Okay, ma'am.
right.
Cervix no pigmentation. Cervix no pigmentation, edema, congestion, and ulceration. No old
So,
perineal tear present.
sometimes, suppose if ulcer is present, ulcer and pigmentation and keratinization are present in the vagina,
Yes, ma'am.
why? What is the cause for ulceration, pigmentation, and keratinization of the vagina? Why does it occur?
Due to friction, ma'am.
Due to chronic exposure, due to chronic exposure, friction, and ulcer. Why does the ulcer occur?
Because of uh, tissue hypoxia occurring due to venous congestion, ma'am.
Venous congestion. Because of venous congestion, the vaginal ulcer occurs, and you have to be very careful whether it is due to venous congestion or due to malignancy. So you should be able to differentiate the ulcer on the prolapsed vagina, whether it is a benign ulcer or malignant ulcer, has to be differentiated. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Uh,
A palpation, mass is reducible, unable to get above the fundus of uterus.
what do you mean that we were not
Uh,
able to get above the fundus of uterus? Then what does it mean? If you are able to get
it is
above the fundus, what does it mean?
that is prosidentium, complete uterus has come out.
Yeah,
So
that is
since we,
procedentia if you are able to get above the fundus of the uterus. If you are unable to get above the fundus, it may be stage 3. All right.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Hmm.
Next slide. A diagnosis, a case of pelvic organ prolapse of stage 3, ma'am.
Excellent. So I appreciate your presentation first because it is more or less equivalent to my expectations, and I appreciate you. So it is a case of stage 3, very much very good, Harini, and it is a case of stage 3 pelvic organ prolapse, which include level 1 defect, level 2A, and level 2P, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
So, do you have any more slide, or you are going to stop with that?
Ma'am, last investigation and treatment, ma'am.
Okay. No, no, no. Before investigations,
Not that's all.
I want to tell something. So,
Yes, ma'am.
how will you classify the pelvic organ prolapse? And all the students, please listen. Don't say it is a uterine prolapse. Please don't say. You have to say it is a pelvic organ prolapse, which may include uterine prolapse, bladder prolapse, and rectal prolapse. 90% of the prolapse are associated with uterine prolapse, bladder prolapse, and rectal prolapse. Rectocele, that is called rectocele. So only in 10% of cases may present as either isolated uterine prolapse or isolated bladder prolapse or isolated rectocele. So you have to say as a stage of pelvic organ, stage 3 pelvic organ prolapse. So how will you classify pelvic organ prolapse?
Pelvic
I'm
organ
not going
prolapse
into the
quant.
details of. Before that, Harini, can you tell me the risk factors for pelvic organ prolapse? What are the
Yes,
risk
ma'am.
factors? Uh,
Uh, Mismanaged childbirth. Ma'am, hello.
not mismanaged childbirth. You can say first age. Start from the
Yes, ma'am.
age of the
Age.
patient.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Age.
older, yeah, more than 60 and more than 60 are more prone to develop pelvic organ prolapse because of hypoestrogenism. So
Yes,
the
ma'am.
post-menopausal the pelvic organ prolapse incidence is more in the geriatric and octogenarian women compared to the reproductive age group of women. And then parity. So if the patient is 3 and more than 3, the
More than
chance of pelvic organ
prolapse.
prolapse is higher. So age parity and then BMI. If the BMI is more than 30, there is increased incidence of pelvic organ prolapse. Then race. The pelvic organ prolapse is more common in white women compared to the African American women and Asian women. African American women and Asian women have thicker perineum, and so they are less prone to get pelvic organ prolapse compared to the white women who are more prone to develop pelvic organ prolapse. So this is the general epidemiology for pelvic organ prolapse. And other risk factors I have told you: age, parity, BMI, race, and then you have to say the other. What are the other risk factors?
Ma'am, their
Harini,
occupation. They Hari Gauri, ma'am.
Gauri, I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am. Occupation can
I'm
also
calling you from
be.
Harini but in the laptop it is showing Harini is
Ma'am,
presenting.
ma'am, she is screen sharing my presentation, ma'am.
Why do you why don't you share?
Ma'am, net problem is there, so both are getting stuck, ma'am.
That is why I am calling as Harini. Okay, present.
Yes, ma'am.
Present Gauri.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Differential
So what?
diagnosis.
No. What are the other risk factors? You have not yet
Uh,
completed my answer to my
ma'am,
question.
ma'am, their occupation can be a risk factor, ma'am.
Not occupation. You have to say in any condition which increases the intra-abdominal pressure,
Intra-abdominal pressure,
like chronic cough,
chronic
chronic
respiratory disease.
chronic constipation, tumor in the pelvis, any tumor in the pelvis, like fibroid uterus, ovarian tumor, can lead to pelvic organ prolapse.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
and
Yes,
then
ma'am.
what are the other risk factors?
Then connective tissue disorder, if present,
Okay,
ma'am.
then
Uh,
age,
then if it
parity.
is a parity, then
I have told
if it
tumors
is
in the pelvis. Uh,
a big baby can also
yeah, very good. Any delivering a baby more than
big
4 kg, 4 and more than 4 kg definitely lead to pelvic organ prolapse later because of the too much stretching of the pelvic muscle and ligaments, which may not regain its original shape and position even after 6 weeks of delivery. And so instead of regeneration, it will become hypertrophy. The levator ana muscles become hypertrophy and thereby leading to pelvic organ prolapse. Then,
yes.
very good.
Then
Big baby. Then,
inadequate spacing between pregnancies, ma'am.
inadequate spacing between pregnancies, and then home
Uh,
deliveries,
home deliveries.
and then difficulty instrumental delivery.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, difficulty
Yes, ma'am.
instrumental delivery can also predispose to pelvic organ prolapse. Improper suturing of episiotomy. All these can lead to pelvic organ prolapse. So now how will you stage the pelvic organ prolapse? How will you
Pelvic
classify?
POPQ classification.
So what is that
Uh,
called?
pelvic organ prolapse quantification.
So it is called POPQ.
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 Yes, ma'am.
POPQ illa. It is called POPQ.
Okay,
So the
ma'am.
POPQ is very important standard to classify the pelvic organ prolapse. According to International Continence Society in 1996, Bump et al. Brought this as a POPQ system. The
POPQ.
POPQ system is widely used worldwide to classify the pelvic organ prolapse.
Stage.
It is more, classify or stage the pelvic organ prolapse, and then it is also important in research, post-operative follow-up, and so it is widely used in globally to classify the pelvic organ prolapse. So how will you classify pelvic organ prolapse according to POPQ?
In POPQ classification, hymen is taken as the
Yeah, hymen
fixed
is
point.
taken as a cutoff point. Cutoff point. Okay.
Cutoff point. More than 1 centimeter above the hymen will be stage one, ma'am.
Good.
More than
Excellent.
1 centimeter.
Yeah.
Then
More than one
with
centimeter proximal to hymen is stage one.
proximal to the hymen, yes, ma'am.
Is stage
Then
one.
one
Hmm.
centimeter within 1 centimeter or equal to 1 centimeter above and below the hymen is stage two, ma'am.
Excellent. Stage
Then
three.
more than 1 centimeter distal to the hymen will be stage three, ma'am.
Very good. Then
Then outside the I mean
complete
outside
prolapse.
complete
Complete
prolapse,
prolapse.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Procedentia is stage 4.
Complete prolapse.
Very good. So these are the 4 stages of pelvic organ prolapse, and your case is stage 3 pelvic organ
Three,
prolapse.
yes,
So
ma'am.
there are, I will briefly tell, there are 6 points in the measurement of POPQ, 3 points in the anterior compartment and 3 points in the posterior compartment. So anterior compartment, the points are AA, BA and C, and in the posterior compartment, the points are AP, BP and D. So these 6 points should be measured with the patient on full training, whereas full Valsalva maneuver. Whereas other 3 points are measured when the patient is in a relaxed condition, which is genital hiatus, which extends from the mid urethra to the posterior hymen, perineal body, which extends from the posterior hymen to the mid anus, and then total vaginal length, which extends from the apex of the vagina up to the posterior hymen. So with these points, you can put your PopQ grid, and it is very important to put the PopQ grid and diagram. Okay, all right, Gauri,
Yes, ma'am.
are you able to listen to me? Am I audible?
Yes,
Am
ma'am.
I
Yes, ma'am.
audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Then now differential diagnosis. So what are the differential diagnosis?
It could be a Gardner cyst
Hmm.
or a cervical polyp.
All right.
Uh,
What
can
are the
proceed, ma'am?
complications of long-standing prolapse? Long-standing
Uh,
prolapse. What are the complications?
there will be kinking of ureter, which will cause renal damage, ma'am.
Okay.
Hydronephroureter.
Hydroureteronephrosis.
Ureteronephrosis. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So
Hydroureter.
because of that, what happens in the bladder? What
Uh,
happens in the bladder?
there will be
Yeah. Stasis of
stasis of
urine,
urine will be there, which
which
leads to
which is which leads to
infection later, ma'am.
infection, and then
Uh,
then
in,
tell me, Gauri, you can
inflammation.
tell. No.
Inflammation.
Infection and என்ன வரும்?
Uh,
யூரின் பிளாடர்லே ஸ்டாக்னேட் ஆகி இருந்ததுன்னா என்ன வரும்?
uh,
Urine
we,
contains
we do,
chemicals. So
yes,
what
ma'am.
happens if there is a long-standing stagnation of urine in the bladder lead to stones,
Stone formation.
stone, Monicavale, very correct. Monicavale, good. Stone
Stone
formation.
formation. Yes,
Chronic
ma'am.
stagnation of urine leads to stone formation. Good, Monicavale.
Then urinary tract infection can occur.
Urinary tract infection, stone formation.
Stone
Okay.
formation. Yes, ma'am.
Decubitus ulcer, very good. So these are what are the other complications? The decubitus ulcer, stone formation, chronic urinary tract infection. Now, what are the causes for irreducible pelvic organ prolapse? Okay, in your case, the prolapse, you are able to reduce it.
Yes, ma'am.
Sometimes it may not be reducible. So what are the
Yes, ma'am.
causes which will lead to irreducible prolapse? Irreducible prolapse.
Fibroid uterus, ma'am.
Fibroid uterus. Start from the common things, Gauri.
Uh,
First ulcer, chronic ulcer in the vagina, you may not able to reduce it because of the severe edema of the vagina. You may not able to reduce it. So,
yes, ma'am.
chronic ulcer in the vaginal wall. Then, chronic decubitus ulcers. Then, fibroid uterus. Then, what are the other important cause for irreducible pelvic organ prolapse? Bladder stone, multiple bladder stones. You may not able to reduce it. And
Yes, ma'am.
then carcinoma cervix and vagina. You may not able to reduce it. So you have to know what are the causes for irreducible pelvic organ prolapse.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
Uh,
ma'am.
even in fecolith, you may not able to reduce the prolapse. So these are the complications of long-standing pelvic organ prolapse. Now we will go to the investigations. Go to the next slide. So what are the
Yes, ma'am.
investigations we will do?
Urine analysis, routine and culture sensitivity, ma'am.
Mm.
Complete hemogram, hemoglobin, PCV, total count and differential count, blood urea and sugar, serum creatinine,
So
X-ray
no,
chest.
no. You say blood sugar should be always in the fasting. Don't do random sugar for any patient who is going to get operated. So you have to say
Okay, yes, ma'am.
specifically fasting blood sugar.
Fasting
And
blood
then
sugar. Okay, ma'am.
renal function test which include urea, creatinine and uric acid. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. The
Then
USG
then
abdomen and pelvis, ma'am.
you have to say ultrasound KUB and pelvis with pre-void and post-void. That is the most
Ma'am,
important investigation. Ultrasound
ma'am,
KUB,
KUB. Yes,
K,
yes, ma'am. Kidney
kidney,
ureter
ureter
bladder.
and
Yes, ma'am.
pelvis. So you
Yes, ma'am.
bladder. So you have to say not ultrasound abdomen. You have to say ultrasound abdomen, KUB and pelvis with pre-void and post-void. You want to know what is the pre-void and how much is the post-void after voiding. So when will you say it is a significant post-void residual urine? Gauri.
When there is retention of urine in the bladder, ma'am.
No, no, no. Whenever there is more than one-fifth of the urine pre-void, suppose you say the pre-void is 300 and the
Yes, ma'am.
post-void should be 60 ml, one-fifth. If it is more than 60 ml, then it is called significant post-void
Significant
residual
post.
urine. So
Yes,
whenever the
ma'am.
post-void residual urine is more than one-fifth of the pre-void, then it is called a significant post-void residual urine. So always you have to say ultrasound KUB and pelvis with pre-void and post-void.
Yes,
Okay?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Tell me. Tell me.
Then intravenous urogram, pap
Why do you
smear and
want to do
cervical test.
Why do you want to do intravenous urogram? Will you do in all cases or what are the indications for IVU? Why do you want to do IVU?
If there is a cystocele, uh,
All prolapse will have citrocil. So do you want to do IVU for all cases? No. So what are the conditions where we will do intravenous urogram?
I don't
So
know, ma'am.
I would say when there is a long standing prolapse for more than 12 weeks, I want to know I will not say intravenous urogram. If I suspect obstruction in the ultrasound, I may do CECT, KUB with reconstructive urogram. You have to be specific. Okay.
Yes,
Nowadays,
ma'am.
rather than intravenous urogram, suppose if there is a severe hydroureteronephrosis with bladder stones or any other kidney bladder ureter pathology, I may do CECT KUB with reconstructive urogram. Reconstructive urogram will tell the course of the ureter and the functioning of the kidney can everything can be studied. Okay. And then
Ma'am, what
pap
we do in
smear,
reconstructive urogram, ma'am?
yeah, reconstructive urogram, the contrast is injected and the pictures are taken at 5 minutes. 5 minutes of after injection of the contrast, 5 minutes, and then 10 minutes, and then 30 minutes, and then 45 minutes, and then after voiding. So five pictures are taken. KUB pictures are taken after injecting the contrast, and so it
Contrast.
is
Yes, ma'am.
exactly like the intravenous urogram, but it is with the
Yes, ma'am.
contrast. So it is
Contrast.
called contrast enhanced CTKUB with reconstructive urogram. You are a
Okay,
medical
ma'am.
student. You should be very specific in your treatment. So you should
Yes,
be
ma'am.
very specific in your investigations. That's what I mean to say. Since
Yes,
I am
ma'am.
a urogynecologist, I will tell the more focused points regarding the pelvic organ prolapse. All right?
Yes, ma'am.
I am a urogynecologist. Okay, so you have to say CECT, KUB and pelvis with reconstructive urogram, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And then pap smear and cervical biopsy if needed. Otherwise, you
Yes,
do
ma'am.
only the pap smear. Then what are the other investigations you will do apart from pap smear, cervical biopsy? Before cervical biopsy, you may do biopsy and colposcopy. Colposcopy. If you
Yes,
suspect, right. Next,
yes,
next
ma'am.
slide. Next slide.
Treatment: Ward Mayos vaginal hysterectomy plus pelvic floor repair. surgical treatment.
What is Ward-Mayo's vaginal hysterectomy?
Uh, uterus is removed along with the anterior colporrhaphy and the posterior colpoperineography.
Colpoperineal.
Ma'am.
So
Colpoperineography.
what are the steps of Ward-Mayo's vaginal hysterectomy?
We have to ligate the structures one by one. First, the uterocervical ligament, macadron ligament.
No.
Then the
Don't say like that. In the examination, you will be asked about the steps of Ward-Mayo's vaginal hysterectomy. So you have to say circular incision made around the cervix. Bladder was mobilized anteriorly by sharp dissection. The POD was opened. Then uterosacral ligaments are ligated, clamped, cut and ligated, followed by the ligation of broad ligament
uterine.
uterine vessels, and then infundibulopelvic ligament along with ovarian ligament. So this is called Ward-Mayo's vaginal hysterectomy. So what is the anterior colporrhaphy? What will you do in anterior colporrhaphy?
We make a inverted T
No.
incision.
Don't say inverted T. So you have to say circular insertion around the cervix for hysterectomy. For anterior colporrhaphy, you have to say, students, please listen. In anterior colporrhaphy, you put a vertical incision starting from the suburethra up to the apex of the vaginal vault. Bladder was mobilized from the anterior and lateral vaginal wall, and the cystocele repair was done by plication of pubocervical fascia in the midline, followed by the closure of anterior vaginal wall. Did you understand? Gauri,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
did you understand my steps, what I have told you?
Ma'am, can you repeat once, ma'am?
Vertical insertion was made in the anterior vaginal wall from the
Yes, ma'am.
suburethra to the apex of the vagina. Then the
Yes,
bladder
ma'am.
was mobilized from the anterior vaginal wall. Then
Yes,
cystocele repair was done by plication of pubocervical fascia in the midline.
yes, ma'am.
Anterior vaginal wall was closed. This is
Yes, ma'am.
called anterior colporrhaphy.
Anti-colporrhaphy.
Then posterior colpoperineorrhaphy, a vertical insertion was made in the posterior vaginal wall from
Yes,
the
ma'am.
area of the from the apex of the most proximal bulge in the posterior vagina up to the posterior hymen. The
Yes,
rectum was mobilized from the posterior vaginal wall, and then rectocele repair was done by plication of rectovaginal fascia in the midline, followed by the closure of posterior vaginal wall. Then
yes, ma'am.
perineoplasty was done by approximation of bulbospongiosus muscle. This is called posterior colpoperineorrhaphy.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So
Yes, ma'am.
what are the complications you will expect during vaginal hysterectomy? Most common complications.
Ma'am, vault prolapse can
No.
happen.
I mean
Intrapartum.
intraoperative. Sorry,
Yes, ma'am.
intraoperative complications.
Uh,
What is the what are the important complications you have to anticipate when you do vaginal hysterectomy?
Ma'am, hemorrhage, primary hemorrhage.
Very good. Hemorrhage due to the slippage of the clamp pedicles like uterine vessels. Hemorrhage.
Yes, ma'am.
Then
Uh, then injury to the bladder,
very good.
urethra, or
Bladder injury,
ureter.
not urethra. Bladder injury is more common when you
Yes,
separate the
ma'am.
bladder from the anterior lower part of the cervix. Okay. Then
Yes. Uh, then injury to the rectum can also occur.
which is very rare, but okay, these are all the important
Okay.
injury to the bladder, hemorrhage, and then injury to the rectum. So these are the complications. And what are the other treatment options? Suppose if the patient is you say the patient is 40 years old, stage 3 pelvic organ prolapse, what is your management?
Uh, and for more than 40 years, we can do
No, I'm
ward
asking
management.
40 years. No, I'm asking 40 years old, stage 3 pelvic organ prolapse.
Yes, ma'am.
What is your treatment?
Fothergill's procedure, ma'am.
You have to counsel the patient. If the patient is particular about retaining the menstruation, then you go for either Fothergill's or Manchester operation. Suppose
Yes,
if
ma'am.
the patient doesn't want to have a menstrual function, you have to say like that. Then you
Yes,
have to
ma'am.
go for Ward-Mayer's
Ward
vaginal
may use.
hysterectomy. So in
Yes,
the
ma'am.
exam, you have to say, I will counsel the patient.
Counsel the patient.
If the
Yes, ma'am.
patient wants to preserve the menstrual function, then I will go for Fothergill's or Manchester. If the patient does not want to preserve the menstrual function, then I will go for Ward-Mayer's vaginal hysterectomy. Like that, you have to say. Okay. Suppose if the patient is 32
Okay,
years,
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
stage 3 pelvic organ prolapse, what's your management?
Ma'am?
Stage 3, 33 years old,
Yes, ma'am.
32 years old. What is your management?
Uh, Ma'am, we counsel her
Uh,
if she desires.
33, 33 is very young age, so you cannot do hysterectomy. So you have to do uterine preservation surgeries like vaginal sacrohysteropexy, where the cervix is amputated and the back of this posterior part of the cervix is fixed to the sacrospinous ligament. That is called vaginal sacrospinous hysteropexy or cervicopexy. And then other procedures are,
Sling surgery, ma'am.
yeah, what are the sling surgeries you know?
Uh, One is Purandar subdominal cervicopexy and the other is Shirodka sling surgery, ma'am.
Okay, but you can say sling operations are also available. But if the patient is nulliparous, then you go
Nulliparous.
for nulliparous, yet to be married. She has congenital prolapse like stage 3. Then you go for abdominal sacrohysteropexy, where the cervix is fixed to the sacrospinous ligament by means of Y-shaped mesh. That is called abdominal sacrohysteropexy, which is which will maintain the natural axis of the vagina, and it is very good for unmarried girls who are yet to be married. So these are all
Yes,
the
ma'am.
treatment options available for stage 3 pelvic organ prolapse. Sometimes the patient may develop only level 1 defect. What is the DLANSIS levels of support?
Level 1 is uh, uterosacral ligament and Mancon-Tons ligament, ma'am.
Yeah. So whenever there
Uh,
is a defect in the uterosacral ligament and Macan-Rods, only the uterus will prolapse. So if the patients have only uterine prolapse, then you go for what is your operation? You go for, depending upon the age, you go for either Fothergill's or Manchester operation. If the patient is younger than 50 years or 40 years. If the patient is post menopause, then you go for hysterectomy. So you have to think of various spectrum of operations before you finalize the operation for the patient. Simply, you cannot do hysterectomy for all patients. So, depending
yes,
upon
ma'am.
the age of the patient, depending upon the wish of the patient, you have to do. Suppose if the patient is 80 years, 84 years old, stage 3 pelvic organ prolapse, who does not wish to have a sexual activity, then what is the treatment option for that patient, 84 years old?
Then we can ask her if if she's okay with a hysterectomy, we can do what's Mayo.
No, 84 years. She is not medically fit. She
Leaford
has
surgery
ejection
can.
fraction.
Leaford
Yeah,
surgery.
Leaford colpoclysis, obliterative procedures like Leaford
Yes.
colpoclysis
Leaford
can be
surgery.
done where the tunnels are created on either side for the vaginal and cervical secretions to come out. Or you can do total colpoclysis where the hysterectomy is done followed by colpoclysis. That is called total colpoclysis. Okay, suppose if the patient is 26 years old and she has one child, she wants to have one more child, and she is a case of stage 2 pelvic organ prolapse. What's your management?
Uh,
Have you heard it of
Father is,
pessary?
yes, ma'am,
Vaginal
pessary.
pessary.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Vaginal pessary.
pessaries
Yes,
are
ma'am.
also pessaries are also play an important role in the management of pelvic organ prolapse. The pessaries can be used for young patients who want to have one more child. So in such a scenario, you can put pessary, and the main disadvantage of the pessary is pessary has to be changed once in 3 months,
Three
and
months. Yes, ma'am.
it should be cleaned by the physician or by the patient. So sometimes the patient may forgot pessary, and it is called forgotten pessary or incarcerated pessary, which may lead to cancer cervix and vagina. So you have to be very careful in our country patients. Whereas in western sides, the pessaries are widely used, and the patients who are waiting for surgery also can be opted for vaginal pessaries. There are so much of pessaries, ring pessary, gelhorn pessary,
Donor pessary.
donut pessary, so much are there, and you have to choose according to that. So pessary also play an important role in the conservative management of pelvic organ prolapse, and indications are young patients who are yet to complete the family, and then patients who are waiting for surgery, the patients who have pelvic organ prolapse with stress urinary incontinence. Till surgery, you can put pessary. So there is also a role of pessary in the management of pelvic organ prolapse. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So how will you prevent pelvic organ prolapse, Gauri?
Uh, by doing physiotherapy, relaxation exercise, perineum strengthening exercises can be done.
So starting from the antenatal period, good antenatal exercise,
Uh, then
supervised
antenatal
delivery. Listen
exercises.
to me. Listen to me. You
Yes,
should
ma'am.
start
Yes,
from
ma'am.
the
Yes, ma'am.
antenatal period. Antenatal
Yes, ma'am.
exercise, supervised delivery, proper suturing of episiotomy, and start the postpartum exercises 6 weeks after delivery, and then pelvic floor exercise, which is called Kegel exercise, which is the magic bullet to regain the pelvic muscle tone. So you have to see whether the patients are doing the pelvic floor exercise correctly. So the Kegel exercise should be taught to the patient, and it can be checked by biofeedback. You can check by doing the biofeedback whether the patients are doing the pelvic floor exercises correctly. The Kegel exercise should be done for a count of 33 times daily for 6 months. And after 6 months, you can compare the muscle tone before and after the Kegel exercise. And after Kegel exercise, the many studies show proved that there is a good tone of the regain in the pelvic floor muscles. So the treatment options are conservative management with pessaries, pelvic floor along with pelvic floor exercise, and then surgery. And always you have to do apical suspension procedures for vaginal hysterectomy, because the prolapse is not the cause for uterine prolapse is not the cause for prolapse. It is the result of prolapse. So what is the cause of a pelvic organ prolapse? The weakening of the mecanrods and uterosacral. So after hysterectomy, see that the apical suspension procedures are done by strengthening this cardinal and uterosacral ligament by doing the modified McCall's caldoplasty, sacrospinous colpopexy, high uterosacral colpopexy. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubt, Gauri? I think I have covered the entire thing regarding the pelvic organ prolapse. Any doubt?
Yes, ma'am.
I
No,
am
ma'am.
I am able to answer your questions now. No doubt, Gauri.
Ma'am, can cancer be a complication of prolapse, ma'am?
So, suppose if the ulcer biopsy shows squamous cell carcinoma, then depending upon the staging of the cancer, suppose if the cancer stage is less than 2A, then you can go for modified radical vaginal hysterectomy. That is called, what is the name of that? Modified radical vaginal hysterectomy along with pelvic lymphadenectomy, and then the patient should go for chemoradiation if the clinical staging is less than stage 2A. If the clinical staging is more than stage 2A, then you have to do the chemoradiation first, followed by modified radical hysterectomy along with pelvic lymphadenectomy. So, what is the name of modified radical vaginal hysterectomy?
Uh,
Gauri,
I don't know, ma'am.
you don't know, it is given in your book. Can anybody tell in the class? What is the name of modified radical vaginal hysterectomy for pelvic organ prolapse associated with cancer cervix? It will start from yes. It will start with yes. I am giving you clue. Go and study in your book.
Yes, ma'am.
So it is also depend upon the clinical staging of cancer cervix. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. So more than stage 2B is first chemoradiation, because in stage 2A the tumor size is less than 4 centimeter, and stage 2A is more than 4 centimeter in size with the involvement of the upper vagina or lower vagina or the parametrium, that all include under the stage 2. Chupta's operation. What is the next doubt?
That's it, ma'am. Guys, anybody having doubt?
That's it. Guys, anybody have doubt? Guys, Monica Vale, do you have any doubt, Monica Vale? What is the role of cystoscopy in pelvic organ prolapse? Monica Vale, is he in the Zoom?
Yes, ma'am.
Gauri, what is the role of Monica? Well, you told stones. So, what is the role of cystoscopy? Gauri did not tell. So, whenever you suspect stones in the bladder, you have to do cystoscopy to see the stones. So, the special investigations needed or cystoscopy in addition to the other investigations Gauri has mentioned. Okay, Monica, well, do you have any doubt? No
No,
doubt.
ma'am.
Okay, so I am clear to you. Thank you very much. You go and study about the pelvic organ prolapse. Do write well in the exam and also answer well in the viva. Thank you very
Yes,
much.
yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. கரெக்டா 1 hour எடுத்திருக்கேன்ப்பா. அட்டெண்டன்ஸ் எல்லாம் போட்டுக்கோ. போடு, இல்லை வந்தவங்களுக்குலாம் போடுப்பா.
Don't leave late.
Roll number 66, roll number 94 absent. We'll have our tutorial class at 11 o'clock.